Welcome back everyone to my channel. This is me, Prem Kumar. Today we have a guest with us, Vakas. Welcome on my channel.
Thank you. Nice to
Uh,
be here.
Thank you. Vakas, what we really want to talk about today with you is about lifestyle after going from UK to UAE. A lot of people actually aspire to go back just to be near their own countries like Pakistan, India, mostly, our diaspora. And there's a big transition. UK lifestyle is different. So, just want to hear from your perspective, when you moved from UK to UAE, what was in your mind, and then how it has worked out for you. Probably, what happened in your mind, why you thought it's a better choice.
Yeah, sure. So, just a bit of a background. I moved to Dubai about 10 months ago now, so it's almost been a year. I was working in the UK for about 7, 8 years, and then since moved to Dubai. My move mainly was motivated by just being closer to Pakistan, right? The proximity to Pakistan. I'm only child of my parents, only
Mhm.
son. So as they get older, I wanted to be closer to them. I think that was the main motivation, but also um, like job opportunities, just it's a very happening place. It's a place that's growing compared to like UK, which is a bit more settled. The opportunities might not be as frequent or as appealing there as they can be in Dubai.
Mhm.
So I thought let's go there, see what it's like. I've given
Mhm.
myself 5 years. I'll see how that goes, and then we can maybe decide to move back or move
Yeah.
elsewhere.
Oh,
So
you
we'll see.
never
Yeah.
know. Yeah, people go and come back sometimes. People stay forever. You never know what happens. But it's life. I mean that's helpful. Family is definitely the biggest factor, right? You earn for yourself and family, and you want able to be happy. Really, in that case, I think, Akash, then probably the question really is, life is very different in those countries. UK life is very different to
Mhm.
UAE. When you moved, I think people ask a very simple question: passport and the impact generally. What what do you think about that after getting a UK passport? What sort of opportunities you got that you would not have gotten otherwise?
Yeah. I mean, see, it would be foolish of me to say there is no impact, right? There is an impact, obviously. But having said that, I mean, the impact is basically you get access to maybe better jobs, a bit of a higher salary, because in the UK there is discrimination, but it's very, very covert, right? So you wouldn't necessarily feel it, whereas in the UAE it's very overt,
Mm.
right? You just feel it like in the job description, you see like this job is for certain nationality, or this job is only for this nationality, or only for males, or only for female. Right? You wouldn't necessarily have that in the UK. It's probably even illegal to
Yeah,
advertise it like that.
yeah.
So you do get that kind of a dynamic in the UAE, right? But I'm not debating whether that's right or wrong, but it
It, it
exists.
it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And
So having that access to the passport obviously then unlocks those sort of opportunities for you, which might not be necessarily there if you're coming from, let's say, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, or any other country from that region.
all right. And if you think about it, is it just the passport, or is it also the experience that you get in UK also impacting massively? Because I can't think just a passport helps you to grow. Really, it's combination really that makes
Yeah,
you grow and shine there.
I mean, it's an excellent point that you raised, right? So the main thing, I guess, is having that experience of working in an environment where you see things or where you experience things that you probably do not get exposure to in like developing markets, right? So that counts more, obviously, but your employer can only assess you based on 30 minutes of an interview, right? So
Yeah.
they may not know the level of experience that you have or the level of exposure that you have. So I would say entry is through the passport, but then the edge that you demonstrate by doing better than others is because you've had that diverse experience of working in a developed
Mhm.
market, which your peers who are not from developed markets might not have, right? So
Getting it.
it does give
Yeah.
you an edge.
Experience does impact a lot. Again, thinking of the jobs, right? People want to move, but I know some people just get LinkedIn messages. Please, these are the jobs. Sometimes you struggle as well. Maybe if you can just briefly highlight, what can be a decent way to look somebody looking to move back to UAE and how to. So, I mean, somebody's in a firm, for example, in an order firm, maybe manager, senior manager, for example, and their grades by the time they got nationality here. What do you think
Mhm.
will be should be a decent strategy for them?
Yeah, so the easiest option is stay within your big four and then reach out to your network firms in the region that you want to move to,
Mhm.
build connections there, and then do an intra firm transfer, right? Within the firm, do the
Mhm.
transfer. that is probably the easiest option, right?
Mm.
I say easiest. I know it's not very easy, but it's still probably the
Yeah.
easiest among all the options you have, because the market saturation here is extremely high. There's loads of people and not loads of jobs. So you would see that, a job is advertised on LinkedIn 2 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, and you already have more than 100 applicants.
Yeah.
And, just talking to recruiters here, you get hundreds of thousands of applicants on each job. Obviously, not all of them are relevant, right? But just the volume is so much that even if you are the perfect fit for the job, they may not even look at your CV because they've got
Yeah.
thousands of CVs to look at. And then there is obviously preference to people who are already based in UAE.
Hmm.
That is not to say that I'm saying come to UAE and find job, right? I'm not advising that. Please don't do that. But there is definite preference to people who are already in the UAE or who have experience of working in the UAE before. That gives you an edge. So I would say just keep applying. Just know the companies that you want to target, right? There's lots of good companies in Dubai, but there's lots of not so good companies here as well,
Yeah.
right? Don't be so desperate that any opportunity to get, you just grab it. Please research the company that you're going to. I know quite a lot of horrible stories where people get used to sort of a work culture in the UK, which you may not necessarily find in the UAE, right? So it can be a big adjustment. Just
Yeah.
make sure that the company that you're going to, you've researched them, you've seen what the culture is like, because otherwise it can be a difficult fit.
I mean, that's really fair. I mean, I even heard stories about people being so desperate that they are probably coming on a much lower scale than they should have
Hmm.
generally, because just had to move. Because I mean,
Hmm.
in UAE, salaries are literally this big band of anybody really. Always say don't discount yourself if you know your worth in that space. Just think of salaries again. I know I'm not going to ask you your exact salary, but how does it look like? Somebody's a manager, for example, in Big Four, became manager over the 5 years, maybe a near senior manager now, probably be earning like near 100K, 90K, 100K in UK. What does it look like in UAE for somebody the equivalent grade or somebody that can go on and be manager level roles?
So I'd say the salaries are similar. So if you're making 100K there, you'll probably make around 450 to 500 in Dubai, or UAE in general per annum,
Mm-hmm.
which turns, which is what divide by 12, it's around
Hmm.
35, 40,000. Is probably the amount that you should be targeting if you're at 100,000 in UK.
Hmm.
It can be 50, it can be 60, right? Depends on the role. As you said rightly, that there is a very wide range of salaries in the UAE. There's no
Yeah.
right fixed criteria, but I'd say 35, 40 is probably where you would be minimum
Mhm.
comfortable if you're working at like 100K in the UK.
Yeah, and tax free that's of course. So
Yeah,
you
so
keep
salary would be similar, but then you save all of that tax. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely. And think of the cost of living then. I know UAE is not cheap, right? I mean, UAE is a city or the country, and Dubai is a city where you get very expensive and very cheap shit at the same time in
Hmm.
different places. So, what do you think for somebody, if the family, for example, because I can't imagine anybody spending 6 years in the UK and being in some level, don't have a family generally.
Hmm.
So, somebody moving back with their families, what do you think is expenses looking like? I mean, assuming a 30,000 flat per month
Hmm. Hmm.
in it, what will the general expenses look like?
Yeah, so I mean, look, people are surviving here on 2,000, 3,000 dirhams per month as well, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But obviously, when you're moving from the UK and you've got a nicer salary, then that's not what you're going for, right?
yeah,
I'd say for an average couple, maybe one child, not school going, yeah, you're looking at 12 to 15K
mm,
per month, right? Including like a one bed flat, and your groceries and a bit of travel and all of that, right? So that's about
yeah,
12 to 15K, depending on how wise you are with your money.
mm,
And then obviously you can spend all of it. You can even borrow and spend more than you earn, right? You can do all of that. Dubai gives you lots of opportunities to do that.
yeah,
But if you're a bit wise, if you're a bit sane about how you spend and you track your spending, then 12 to 15K can get you a very good life, with a one bed flat, and a not a school going child. I emphasize the school going thing because the school expense obviously is something that people from the UK are not used to,
yeah,
and that's a big expense here, right? Um, if you're coming to a good employer, they probably will cover
mm,
some of the
mm,
cost or maybe all of the cost of the child
mhm,
going to school, right? In that case, you don't have to worry about it. But if the employer doesn't cover it, then it can be quite
yeah.
expensive.
And those employers will be like big, large employers in UAE, generally corporates, with their back to schools, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, education is expensive in Middle East, anyways. Um, and just thinking about, your own situation, everybody's different, right? Everybody has a different way of thinking on the countries. You have been in UAE, UK for a while, and then UAE. What do you think went right? Like, work culture wise, weather wise, just thinking out loud.
Yeah,
What you
I
think is
moved
UK better and UAE better?
I moved in July, which is probably the
Yeah,
worst time to move to Dubai.
yeah,
The real field temperature here was like 68,
yeah,
69 degrees, which is like crazy, right? It was so hot.
yeah.
Like even at like midnight, if you go out, you can't breathe because it's just so hot, so stuffy.
No, you're
So
talking about
it was,
July. I came actually in December to Dubai, and that canal, city canal, I think in Dubai. At night time, December, I wasn't feeling enough air,
mm, mm.
so I can't imagine July at all.
Yeah, yeah. So it can be a bit of an adjustment, right? The weather is brutal, especially in the summers. But if you stay indoors, then obviously there's no issue. Like there's malls and like everything's built around that weather. So the only time you'll feel the weather is like if you want to go for a walk, you want to go for a run, or just from mall to the parking of your car. That's the sort of
Mhm.
places you'll feel the weather. Otherwise, mostly the life is indoors for 6 months, and then when it gets to winter, the weather gets a bit more bearable. You can go out, you can go to the beach, and all of that, right? So weather-wise, it's an adjustment. I wouldn't say it's like people live here, right? There's loads of Brits who move here. They enjoy the weather, so it's livable. It's not unbearable. But there's other adjustments that people have to do, right? So obviously work culture can be a bit of a hit and miss. Depends on the company, right? So if that's why I emphasized earlier, if you find the right company that's a good fit for your culture, then you're set. But not every company would be like that, right? So you're not working with people who have got the same sort of background as you, right? So not everyone's come from UK where everyone's
Yeah,
nice. Even if they hate you, they will probably not say on your face that they
yeah,
hate you, right? That's the
yeah.
British way of doing things. But here, it's pretty much it is what it is,
It is
right?
what
So
it
it's a bit, yeah, it can be a bit of an adjustment, right? I've had to adjust. Obviously, I've joined a company which is like European, so good culture and everything, but it's not the same.
is.
So
Yeah.
that is, I guess, probably the biggest thing. That the work culture here can be a bit different. And if you're a person who cannot adjust to such a culture, then you might find it difficult, right?
Yeah, I mean
But
the way I think, in Pakistan we used to work so much, and then coming to UK, I can't imagine going. I mean, right now I can't imagine going back to the same culture because I have been
yeah,
used to this culture for 6, 7 years now, and I feel it's quite good. And coming back to
yeah,
UAE
yeah.
can sometimes be, difficult
Mhm.
in circumstances. I think that's helpful to understand with the perspective. I mean, everybody is different. Someone will value a lot of money. It's like, of course, if anybody single and they are earning 30, 45,000, 40,000 AEDs per month, like massive, really. Uh, and that saves a lot of money, and you can definitely do a lot in Middle East compared to what you have here. And just
Yeah.
last thought around the Middle East, not specifically Dubai. There are a lot of countries. What do you think is like? There are a lot of options, right, for people to move. UAE, Qatar, Kuwait. Uh, what do you think is probably good in terms of salaries generally, if you have an idea? And then, what is generally a preference?
hmm I mean, so going back like 10, 15 years, right? There was just not a lot of people willing to move, and the salaries and everything was just so good that they were attracting people by giving them ridiculous amounts of money and packages and everything. The situation is very much different now, right? Everyone wants to move here to UAE, to Riyadh, to
Yeah.
Qatar, right? These are all companies which are attracting talent. So I would say they are very similar, right? If you're an employee, then you're pretty much bound by wherever you get the job. So I'd say just apply in all of these regions. They're very similar. The salaries would be very similar. The cost of living will be similar.
Mhm.
The culture, everything will be very similar, right? Maybe Dubai is a bit more touristy,
Mhm.
um, but Riyadh's also becoming touristy, so it's very similar. But if you go to Jeddah, for example, it might not be that much touristy.
And like
Qatar might be
Abu
a little
Dhabi
bit
as well.
different.
Abu Dhabi isn't
Yeah,
that touristy like Dubai.
yeah,
So
exactly. So I'd say they're very similar, homogeneous. Just if you're an employee, you really don't have choice. Just keep applying wherever you get the job.
Mhm.
Make sure the company is good, and then the country itself and the place that you live in would be. kind of similar, right? So if you know Dubai, you know all of them, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm generalizing, obviously, right? Obviously, they've got their own quirks
Yeah.
and differences, but overall, if you can adjust to one, you can adjust to the other as well.
Fair enough. And I think that's a helpful sort of perspective. And as I say, the audience here is literally, a lot of people moving here and there. It's a community, like accountancy community. It's easy to move around, so people look after options. I think that really gives good flavor. Thank you so much, Vikas.
Yeah, no worries.
All
Thank you.
right, thank you.